Good morning, everyone. Blessed morning to everyone. I'd like to stand on the protocols for UG that have already been established, but I'd like to especially acknowledge and welcome our brothers and sisters from the faiths that are represented here this morning and who will speak on the panel. So Ras Simon from the Guyana Rastafarian Council, Mr. Prabhudev from ISKCON, the Hare Krishna Center, and great friend of the university, Mr. Kenneth Daniels from the Science of Spirituality and Meditation Center, Guyana, Pastor Wendell Jeffrey, Behavior Modification Facility, and Mulana Tasdiq Abidi, President of Al-Mustafa Institute Islamic Trust, and all others in the university and online who are joining us this morning. My old friend and brother, Pastor Magarel, Ron Magarel, who is here, head of IRO. So we go a very long way back. And many of those who are online in the university. Today we are blessed to have 2 accreditation teams on the ground for the university. And that means that everybody has to be in place, so when they come to inspect this and that, they're there. So people are online and not in the room. But the beautiful thing about these events, when we are streaming them live and when we have them available, is that they have hundreds of lives. You know, over and over again, people can watch them, they can participate. So I want to thank those of you who have taken the time to skip away to be here in person with us. I asked for more than 3 minutes this morning to speak because a lot of people may not know this, but the university has been doing quite a number of religious activities internally over the last couple of years, and certainly in this year in particular. And as I think, make my own journey through life as a person, an individual, but also as a leader of a diverse community like the University of Guyana, I am coming to my own, I think, insights and revelations and understandings about the importance of spirituality and certainly religious tolerance and understanding in not only our universities, but in all places in the world. And so I asked for an extra 2 minutes this morning to speak a little bit about that. My own personal upbringing, I think I've spoken about this before. My mother is Christian, my father was Muslim, and I attended a Hindu school, Ramakrishna, when I was for primary school. And so I have had a very interesting religious upbringing from all the faiths that you could possibly think about, but in a very formal way, because my father's family ensured that I had Islamic training as a young girl. That's why I can't ride a bicycle up to now. And I've never climbed a tree, all those things. And of course, I went to Sunday school, catechism in the Christian faith. And of course, at Ramakrishna, you had to do prayers every single morning in Hindi, and you had to learn the Hindi alphabet. You had to participate in every single event, holiday that they had. The whole school was doing that. And so I think that my own sense of where the Spirit and God is in a person and in society was very much informed by this very, very, very diverse and I think wonderful and beautiful upbringing that I had as a young girl. But within recent times, I would say within the last 5 years or so, my own thinking about where the religiosity and spiritual things belong in a place such as a university, which has been formally told in the past, not recently, but in the past, when I first came here in 2007, there was a circular that was sent around the university saying that we should not do prayers for anything because we were a secular university. And I was very disturbed by this, and I would always say, well, somebody could fire me for saying prayers if they want. And now that I am leading the university, this is something that has been on my mind. So where does this actually, this question fall? And this university is made up of many, many different faiths, people who believe different things and who are protected under the Constitution of our wonderful country to be able to practice their beliefs without fear of any kind of interference. And so I think that standing on that firm legal and moral ground, we continue to facilitate these kinds of activities now. So when I've been asked to speak about what education means to human beings, and to certainly persons who are fighting what we might call spiritual wickedness in high, low, and all places, and fighting darkness, and fighting things like oppression. I think about all of the spiritual books that speak very fundamentally to the role of education and the difference between knowledge and wisdom. Because education, according to all of those books, the word education, by the way, is not spoken of in those terms in any one of those books, because the systems of education that we have now were, of course, post-date those writings. So they make a very distinct difference between education, which is a systematic transmission of certain types of knowledges in the interest of certain kinds of things, and wisdom, which is supposed to be innate and comes from the divine. And the reconciliation, I think, of the knowledge that we learn as educators and during the educative process, and the wisdom that is innate in all human beings and comes from our Creator. That's the reconciliation that I think we try to facilitate when we have these kinds of events. And so I reflect upon the question of wisdom and its role in a university and in our space. And I think that, for instance, in the first books that we read, we know that all the prophets were teachers. Every single prophet was a teacher. And before they came to the height of their purpose, their work as teachers and what they were talking about had to be fulfilled. And what were they all talking about? They were all talking about the ability of human beings to, first of all, love one another, to respect one another, to live in peace with one another, to live in peace with nature as well, respect for nature, to not be warmongers and to be greedy, jealous. All of these things are things that all the good religions of the world have at their core. And these prophets who came to teach in the first instance were speaking about these things. And so I think that teachers and educators are very special to God in that regard. And because they're very special to God in that regard, they're also going to be very vulnerable to the attacks of the ungodly. I don't like to say the word that these scriptures have for the evil one, so I'll just say the evil one. So I'm not speaking about human beings here. I'm speaking about spiritual things, not human beings, in case anybody gets me wrong. But so I think, first of all, about all of the attacks, for instance, in the Garden of Eden, that was over wisdom, right? In Confucianism, they speak about, the lack of wisdom is the poverty of everything. Of course, in the Hindu scriptures, they speak about Dharma and how important wisdom and elevation above all of the things that are not of the mind and spirit, how important that is through this journey, this spiritual journey. And so for me, in standing in this moment in a world in which education all across the world is being attacked by AI, by persons who are feeling that it's, people no longer need education, and young people sometimes also feel that they don't need education anymore, that they can, do what they need to do in the world without the spiritual guidance, without clear direction. I think that these conversations become very, very, very significant, very powerful and potent, because there is nothing, I believe, that does not flow from this divine spirit. Nothing that we do, this divine source. Nothing that we do, nothing that we are. And I'm a scientist by training, and so the question of how a scientist is able to reconcile ideas of mystification, scientists are supposed to be able to prove things, right, and to see things, and but there's a room for theoretical physics, for instance, theoretical science. Those who think through problems, like for instance, Einstein himself was speaking about things that he theorized about that now, years, decades later, science is actually proving, right? And many of the scientists who started out as atheists, who did not believe in intelligent design, that is the design of our multiverse by an intelligent being, right? Who thought that all of these things are random and accidental. They're now looking at the mathematics and the design and saying there must be a case for an intelligent being, that there must be a creator somewhere, right? So I'm saying all of these things to say to you today that this is what was placed in my heart to speak about in this forum. And what I've been speaking about consistently over the last 2 years at different other forums was the ability of education to basically oppress and defeat the demons of ignorance, the demons of poverty, the demons of deprivation, of lawlessness, and of certain types of perversions, let us say, that might be undermining humanity itself. Because when people are not educated, it's not that educated people do not commit crime and do bad things. But those who are educated have far less temptation, or are placed in situations where they are made or encouraged or tempted more to do things that are against those highest ideals that we all, as people who believe, are working towards and are expected to live by. And so, ladies and gentlemen, there is in my mind, no divorce, no dichotomy, no tension between those who believe in spirit and those who believe in education. They are one to me and the same, and that we believe in goodness, and that education is a way to bring that goodness about, the tolerance, respect for each other, and the love and peace that can only bring prosperity, both here and in other lives. I want to say to you this morning that these are my remarks. I apologize for going over my 4 minutes, but I had to say this because this is what God has said to me that I should say today. And you'll forgive me for not being a theologian, I'm not a pastor or anything, but I speak my heart this morning. God bless you. Thank you for coming, and I hope that this event will touch the hearts of everyone who hears it, and those who are seeking shall find what they need to find in it. Thank you, and God bless you.